go? Well, straight away within a short period of time, I get a call. I believe it was Jim Cornette that called me at first, and then Jim Ross, and then I'm in WWE.
So it wasn't you making phone calls; they were
No,
reaching out to you.
they reached out to me instantly.
Talent was really at a
Now,
premium for sure back then.
now let me just backtrack a bit here. They may have a different story. Again, I'm back taking drugs again.
Your recollection is not infallible in the situation.
Yes,
That's what you're saying. Right?
But as far if I can remember rightly, when I got the call, because I got the call and then I got a call straight away from Dave Taylor saying he'd been let go, which there was no reason to let him go, but I'd been let go. He got let go. If I remember rightly, again, Jim might have a different story, and I'll take his story over mine because, again, like I say, from a week or 10 days before that, whenever that Bill Goldberg incident happened, I'd gone back on the pills again and gone at it hammer and tongue. So my recollections of this are vague, but I think I'm pretty sure that it was Jim that called me first. Then, Jim Cornette, but it could have been me calling him. I don't know. And it could have been, and then Jim Ross. You might have some information there that might shed light on this. And then I ended up I do remember having a conversation with Bruce Pritchard. Another thing that happened around about this time, a bit through my lovely wife again, she managed to get me pretty much cut off from every avenue that I was getting pills from. But I was still not ready to stop that. So I couldn't get, there was stuff coming. I was getting stuff from different doctors, which was a lot easier to do. And in those days, she put a stop to that.
And also when you're in that situation, you can be quite resourceful, right?
You can be resourceful, but I didn't really need to, because other people would give me the odd, give me some, but also there was the Renewtrient. It became a popular thing, which is basically GHB, and you could buy it over the counter at GNC.
Jeez.
And so that ended up being my sole thing for the entire time that I was in WWE, with the exception of the odd person giving me some pills. It was me drinking a lot of up to 2 pints of Renewtrient a day, which is, of all the things I've done, that is the worst of everything. And it didn't, that's not just in the world that I was in. I don't need to go into it, but there was a lot of people I knew in my other world, which is back in Britain, in good, like, proper doormen who were stand-up fellas who were all like, right, you could trust them with anything. That became a big thing around that time, where everybody was doing GHB, and a lot of them didn't get out of it, and a lot of them turned them into, it ruined a lot of people. Let's put it that way. That stuff was a nasty, horrible thing, and it ruined a lot of good people. And these are all things I've found out later on and stuff. But fellas that were proper stand up,
sure.
back, you could rely on them for anything. In the club world, which was, they're all sort of fighting fellas, but they ended up, that was the one thing that sent everybody off in that particular time period. It was a going on all over the place, and it was ruining people. But so anything that you hear about me going forward after about probably the March of 1998 would mostly, not all the time, because I could get the occasional batch of pills, was mostly Renewtrient. I think if you read, I'm not going to say read my book, but if you read my book, at least this was 2000 4 when I did that, so it was far closer to the time, and I knew, you know, you can find the facts out of, but because I was very open with that, and I can remember it a lot easier then, about when the pills stopped and when the GHB started. But that was the major thing, and until I went to WWE. See, when I got let go from WCW, I went straight to the WWE. They didn't know I had a problem. They just knew me, and Jim Ross was a big supporter of mine and always has been, and all, you know, we'll be friends for life. He took me on. Everybody there was helpful, but they found out, they realized I got a problem right away. So I know I debuted. I pretty much. It's not hard to figure out when. And I got there and I wasn't in great shape. Oh, here's something. So from the April of that year, pretty much straight, I just signed on with WWE. In April, I got double pneumonia for the first time. And I got it 3 times in the next, I believe it was month or 6 weeks. I remember waking up on my birthday on the 10th of May, 1998. I sat up in bed, coughed, and blood splattered against the bedroom wall. And I was in hospital for a week each time. So as soon as I got signed up, because my system was so worn down at the time, I started getting sick. I got double pneumonia 3 times in a row. And also, that was the first time that was the only time I got, I think it was on the 3rd time of the double pneumonia. Now, again, I could have this a little wrong. You might want to look, or one of the people who research for this show might want to look through my book. I have it, again, because I was closer to the time then. I think it might have been the 2nd or 3rd time that I had, and I was in hospital for a week. That's when I first contracted pericarditis. It was the only time I contracted pericarditis. Pericarditis is the inflammation of the sac that your heart is in. That's what played into me having a major heart issue in 2018 and spending 8 weeks in hospital.
It all started back then.
It all started back in 1998, in April or May of that year.
You were just catching all the breaks in 98.
Yeah, well, no, it's all my fault. All that's to blame. Everything all this is all me. It's my fault. I did it all to myself. There's nobody else to blame. You can, you know, if you want to look at it, oh well, I had a bad neck, and yeah, but that's wrestling. You know, I mean, I should have got the neck sorted out, but I didn't. I didn't tell anybody, so that was stupid. It's all down to me. The pills, the drugs, that's all down to me. That's all. It's just all down to me. Every bit of this is down to me, right? Because once I stopped, I never took it. I don't take an aspirin. The only time I've ever had to take any pain pills of when I've had the neck surgery, surgeries, 2 of them, and I couldn't wait. Like, I was on them as long as I need them, and then I was off them. Like, there was never any of that. Always, you know, me worrying about staying on too long. No, I got off them because I didn't like being on them. I used to think, why did I like this? You know,
right.
When I woke up from the second neck surgery, especially the second one was a major one. When I had 4 discs replaced, that look, you are going to have to take some serious medication for, you know, I think it was about 3.5 weeks, and I was off it. You know, they said, oh, you might be on this for quite a while, few months, you know. No, I got off it. So that's never, when anybody brings up any of these things about me, that all that came to an end. We're going to get to them. This is all long-winded, but we're going to get to the man's man thing.